ready to take some questions.
I have one.
Yes.
I'd love to know your reflections on computers and social networking devices and sort of this fundamental inherent paradox that they sort of connect us to one another and extend communication, but at the same time are very dislocating, disembodying, take us out of ourselves and fragment communication. So do you see a way that we could subsist with technology in terms of writing and communicating, but still remain in our bodies? Or keep speech embodied? In 10 words or less?
Yes.
And as to how? Is it possible, let's say?
For a while you outsourced it by having me do your computing.
Yes, I have
So
a.
you could stay in your body and I did the dirty work.
Yes. I don't know if you heard that or not. She said for a while you avoided this by having me do your computing and you stayed at home in your body. She was great. Thank you, Joe. Thank you very much. Thank you, Bill.
You don't do Facebook.
Wait. Poetry must strive to be science. No. Art must strive to be science. Science must strive to be art. All poetry should be philosophy. Schlegel, about 1815 probably. Yeah. To the giant.
Marvelous Michael McClure.
I like it.
In addition to poetry and art, do you like any sports? Do you have any favorite players or teams?
I like Qigong. I like when I was in. I like gyms. I like working out in the gym.
I heard you mention Marilyn Monroe. Did you meet Joe DiMaggio here in San Francisco?
No.
What's your favorite team sport?
I can't discuss that.
What is your definition of being an artist or a poet? What is to be a poet? Is there a distinction of being a person? What is the uniqueness of being a poet?
What's the uniqueness of being a poet? Constantly looking for inspiration, to check your own inspiration, to find if it's real. You read poetry, you look at Clifford Still, you listen to Haydn or Sun Ra, to find out their inspirations. You can look at your own inspirations. It's real, I believe it. Nadie comprendía el perfume de la oscura magnolia de tu vientre. Nadie sabía que tú martirizabas un colibrí de amor entre los dientes, 1000 caballitos persas se dormían, etc. You don't have to know it in English. I don't know it in Spanish. It's recited in Spanish. It actually says nobody understood the perfume of the dark magnolia of your womb. No one knew that you tormented a hummingbird of love between your teeth. 1,000 Persian ponies fell asleep in the moonlit plaza of your forehead. That's the opening lines of Gazelle of Unforeseen Love by Federico Garcia Lorca. Look at that and say, I believe it. That's true. That's true. Now, am I being true? Yes, no, I am. But not until anybody see it. Yeah.
On the recent Hollywood movies about Big Generation, like On the Road or Big Sur, did you see any of those movies and do you have an opinion?
I saw On the Road.
What did you think?
Well, I knew Jack, so I know he was pretty prim. I'm not saying that in a degrading way. I mean, primness was part of his character, as much as his extravagant genius. And that book, that film showed me some things that would have never happened among the people that I knew. at least publicly, that anybody would know. Big Sur I have not seen. I look forward to seeing it sometime. The interesting thing in that is Balthazar Getty plays me. I remember Balthazar Getty when he was like toddling around on two legs, waving his hands to keep his balance, because he was there with his mother, Martine Getty, at meetings of the Zen Center that were there to discuss politics and higher thought. Not to, yeah.
I travel the world. I'm trying to get meaning behind the things I observe or I come into contact with. Do you think a peyote experience or LSD would help you see things? What's your recommendation?
You know what you say in Mexico? Quien sabe?
Mr. McClure, first off, thank you. It's really a pleasure. People of my generation want to see your work still and see you in the flesh. In terms of films, do you look at film as poetry, considering that you worked with Andy Warhol?
I did not work with Andy Warhol.
Sorry, I
I
apologize.
put a lawsuit on him to keep him from showing that damn film.
I apologize. I mean, like, in terms of filmmakers like Angus Varda or Martin Scorsese or Peter Fonda, for example, you worked with on one film in the 70s.
And Norman Mailer.
Do you feel like, do you feel film continues to be a form of poetry, or do you feel that it's gone to, just sort of dramatizing or just trying to, get a blood out of stone, like as you mentioned about Kerouac and like how you're...
I've been looking at some extraordinarily beautiful films. I saw the four films called The Hollow Crown, which were adaptations of Richard II. They're all in a row. Richard II, Richard II, Henry IV, Henry V, and wait, there's four of them. Henry IV, Part 1 and 2, and Henry V, and they're extraordinary. And they've taken Shakespeare and they've taken them apart and put them back together, and they've added all kinds of things. But mostly they do a good job, and I just find myself breathtaking by the acting. And Tom Hiddleston is, oh my God, yeah, he's in. And I'd never heard of him before. Now I look at a review of Thor. Should I go see Thor? He plays Loki in Thor. And let's see, the reviews usually start out, if Loki would only stay on stage, I would have sat through the rest of the film. Or I only sat through the rest of the film hoping Loki would come back on stage. Loki is played by Hiddleston. He's really beautiful.
Barbara's name is pronounced Thor.
Thor, yeah.
Small plug for the documentary on you, Abstract Alchemist of Flesh, which is a really good job. Right, recent documentary on you and on Amy, Abstract Alchemist of Flesh. It premiered recently at the Berkeley Video Film Festival, and it is wonderful. I don't remember the name, sorry.
Did you hear that? It was made by my friend Colin Still, who was originally a filmmaker for BBC, and he started filmmaking. The most beautiful thing I've ever seen on Frank O'Hara. And one of the two really beautiful films on Allen Ginsberg he's done. And he's done them on Creeley and Gary Snyder and myself. And how did I get into this? Talking about Colin. Oh, now Colin is doing a documentary of the Kronos Quartet.
What relationship does Double Lion Dharma have to Ghost Tantras?
What relation does Double Lion Dharma have to do with Ghost Tantras?
Lion.
Yeah.
Double Lion Dharma. Non-physics of nothingness, turned inside out like a protein. Presence arising from presence. That's Hawaiian Buddhism. Interpenetration of blue wildflowers. That's Hawaiian Buddhism. red roars, starving bare-boned mothers and babies. Thoreau's thoughts about pond weeds, unaccountable worlds at the tip of an eyelash. Coal, steel, cinnamon melted together into nada, all substance, moss, dreaming of violets, yellow violets with dark centers in playgrounds and battlefields. I can't read the next line.
Ordinary as chinchilla for ordinary as grasshopper.
Good.
From the sound of the street.
Yeah.
All right.
I was very much under the sway of Huayan Buddhism, which is Buddhism of
One of the earliest forms of Buddhism, pre-Chinese, and taken into Chinese consciousness in the early Tang dynasty around 600–700 AD, but already a very well-established school of thought. That's good. Can I go home now?